Hey everyone, what's up? Okay, so fixing to do round three of the top motor mount plates. I'm not going to bother recording it and putting it on here, the process of it. You've done seen me do it twice now, so there's no point in doing it a third time on camera. Hopefully, this time I'll get it right. But I had a rethink on the process of how I was going to do this, and took me a minute to like really think about it, just the physics dynamics of it and the physics and all that, this and that. So what I did was this. Now you've seen me cut a template before, that's nothing new. What I did this time is, if you can see it, I just took some yellow tape and did overlaps on each piece, and then I stuck it to the motor mount holes, like all three of them, and got it as tight as I could get it. Then I took a pencil and just did a rubbing of all three holes, outer diameter, inner diameters, and then I took a Sharpie and went around the inner diameters of all three. Pulled it off, stuck it to a card, and then drew in the shape of how I wanted it to roughly be. And then used a hole punch, like I said last time, and punched out all the holes. Then I took this and put it back on there, and the bolts did float through completely flush. No muss, no fuss. So hopefully this time it'll work correctly. um, I went ahead and drew it out on the plate. I'm fixing to drill the holes on both pieces. Now, what I did was I had to think about how this was going to look in that diamond plate. So the clutch side and the brake side. So one of these will go on one side, one will go on the other. And like I said before, I want the diamond plate to show out. So I had to have a think on how I'm going to put this thing on here to make sure that the diamond plate is showing to the outside. Because if I do it wrong and it shows to the inside, I can't flip it over and use it on the other side because the holes won't match. So yeah. Now this is just me explaining this. Yeah. If it works, I'll come back and show you how it looks once they're cleaned down and ground down and primed and painted and blah 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 blah. All right, so you'll see that eventually. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you was, while I was doing this, I remember how I said in like the first video or two that I was going to take off the chain guard and polish that and just give it a good clean down and put it back on. Well, I took it off the other day, and while I was doing that, and unfortunately that's no longer the case. So let me show you why, and I'll explain. So here's the chain guard. Now you would think at first glance it's not that bad off or anything like that. However, the two acorn nuts that are on the top, they're pretty bad off looking. They'll probably come off if I wanted them to, but the guard, hopefully you can see that real well, that thing is just completely knackered and shot and just absolutely gone. So I would have to replace that now. But also here, see, all three of these are either bent in or bent out. Not to mention right here, it's completely chewed. So what I'm guessing is when whoever was if they adjusted the chain, or if they were doing the adjusters on the rear wheel, that they weren't done either to spec, or it was off-centered slightly, and so the chain just chewed up the chain guard and kicked it at some point going down the road, and that happened because when I tried to pull that bolt out that holds the chain guard on. This thing at first felt like it was, you know, cross threading, just trying to pull it out from the threads that are in the back of it. But once it got farther, like front side, then they just eased on out like normal. It didn't look like there was anything wrong with it, but for all I know, I mean, who knows? But at any rate, so I'm not going to reuse this. I'm not going to bother to try and fix it. I'm not going to get a new guard, you know, a guide for it on the inside. This thing is just going to be scrapped. And I'm going to run this open chain. So that'll save me a little bit of money in the long run. But I'm going to keep the mounts for the chain guard on it. So if anyone wants, you know, if I do sell this and someone buys it and they want to put the chain guard back on it, then at least they'll have the mounts for it, and they can do whatever they want with it. But like I said, this was just, you know, kind of an update video and letting you know where things are sitting and, you know, what's happening. Not really any fabrication going to be done, no real work that's new, you know. So, but yeah, I'm going to try and tackle these top mounts, hopefully get them right this time. And like I said, here in the next video or two, I'll start doing the rear fender for the turn signals, or at least for the mounts for the turn signals, because like I said, I'm going to just put in some marker lights and wire them into the turn signal system and just have them mounted where the old reflectors were on the fender, because there's already a hole there for it, so I might as well utilize that. So yeah, okay, well, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging with me. If you have, I know this seems like just a lot of me talking and not really seeming like I'm getting a whole lot done, but it's a process. I just got to keep repeating that mantra to myself. It's a process. It's a process. And little by little, it'll come together. I mean, it doesn't have any choice. I have to work on this thing when I can work on it, because I'm going back to work soon, thankfully. And yeah. But the downside is that soon my wife is having to have surgery. So between her having surgery and me having to like really step up and help out with her and the kids, and with working, you know, luckily my mom will be coming up here to help out while I'm at work. But short of that, I might not have a whole lot of time to devote to this thing much anymore, but I'll try and work on it as I can work on it, you know, when I have the extra time to do so. So yeah. All right, well, later.